today, I convert Zillow over 20%. I'm not talking taking out cancels, wrong numbers. I'm talking legit. You bring it in, 21%.
Quickly realized when we got onto Zillow Flex, it was like my biggest challenge all of a sudden was, how do I keep up with the volume? How do I keep up with the amount of opportunities? And endless leads means nothing without quality control.
If you want 100 leads, 500 leads, or whatever, I could build the systems and processes where you get those. Where people fall down is what happens after you get a lead.
The real work begins the moment that lead enters your CRM. But what exactly is that work? How should we be thinking about it? What should our agents be doing? This Minisode guides you through the work of nurturing and conversion, what a good system looks like based on some of the best in the industry. A great system starts with a great mindset. And not just a positive rah-rah mindset, but putting ourselves in the position of each of our leads, putting ourselves in their mindset. Here's how 2 leaders understand each lead, not just as a single opportunity, but as a gateway to an entire tribe of people, an entire series of opportunities.
How I got from as just a solo agent doing 35 to 70 deals a year was all like, hey, I'm going to go all in on Zillow and treat these clients like friends and family and do such a good job during the process and do just as good of a job staying in contact afterwards to multiply the impact, to leverage each opportunity with Zillow in the form of 2 or 3 more referrals within a year or 2 after that.
If you're valuing it as one transaction, I don't know if that's the way to go. Yeah. Right? I think you got to be thinking more long term because it's incredibly powerful in that way. The average consumer searches on Zillow for 12 weeks before they actually press contact agent. When somebody presses that button, I think it's a moment of vulnerability. For me, it's like going to a car mechanic. I don't know what they're going to tell me. I have no idea how to verify that. And they're going there for a reason. And if they had anybody that they trusted or respected in their life, they wouldn't go there. Right? If I had a friend of a friend, I would call that person. If I had a coworker, I would call that person. That's a huge responsibility for the person that picks up that call. That agent not only got introduced to that one person, but they got introduced to an entire tribe of individuals that didn't have a real estate professional that anybody trusted or respect to give that name.
Agents should work to understand and appreciate each lead's mindset. If they already had an agent in their trusted circle of people, they would have gone directly to that agent, but they didn't. And now that they're in front of you, approaching them with empathy and confidence is key to building and reinforcing connection. The leader's role in creating an effective nurturing and conversion system is making sure team culture embraces each lead's situation and the vulnerability they face in that situation every time by every agent. So how do you get agents on board? One tried and true method developed by AT&T is the direct model of coaching. And in this little role play you're about to see, Kobe, the team leader, is speaking to me as if I'm an agent on his team who's not using the CRM. But of course, you can take these ideas and use them anywhere that you want to reinforce better behavior, coach that behavior up, including lead nurturing and lead conversion.
Develop rapport, ask them questions, ask them about their day. Indicate focus. I want to talk to you specifically about follow-up boss. And then reinforce and recognize. You want to recognize a positivity or something great about them. People will listen when you say a positive thing. And then you engage in self-discovery, which you want to be the question master. Well, why don't you use follow-up boss? Do you see any benefits in using follow-up boss? Sometimes if I'm not getting the certain answers that I want, I will flip the script and I will use examples. Do you know everybody's cell phone number? Oh, no, I don't know that. They're in my contacts. Oh, so your contacts are saved and your phone number. Oh, yeah. How about your calendar? Do you ever use your calendar? Oh, yeah, I use my iPhone calendar. What you do is you get them to start agreeing with you on certain things, right? That makes sense technology-wise. Do you think there's benefit into follow-up boss because you wouldn't have to keep track of everything? There's like a task or a to-do, or is there ever times, Ethan, where you're traveling in the car and you have a conversation with somebody and you forgot what you talked about? Well, imagine if that call was recorded and it was in follow-up boss you could go and listen to later. It's kind of like remembering your contacts, Ethan. So what I'm doing is I'm relating things to the person so they believe me, they listen to me. And then the next step is create a plan, cause for gap, which is the second most important step, which is figure out what got in the way.
So for folks watching and listening, that's DIREC. C was create a plan or cause for gap. And then now we're at the final one, which is T.
And that is timeline, that is tweak and test. So we're going to start today, and then in 7 days, we're going to look at it. And here's what it looks like. It's this simple. If you were driving on the wrong side of the road and I saw you, if I didn't stop you, would that make me a bad person? Ask them that question and watch what they say. They're going to say, what are you talking about? Okay, Ethan, let me do this. You entrusted me with your career. Is it okay with you if I check in with you in a week and see if you're using Follow Up Boss? If I ask that question, they're going to be like, oh, well, yeah. I mean, if I'm driving down the wrong side of the road, like, why wouldn't I want you to help me? That's what I'm here for, Ethan. We discovered that you see the value in Follow Up Boss. It can get you more deals. It can get you more time with your kids. Now with the timeline and the test and the tweak, I'm going to check in with you in 7 days. If you're not using Follow Up Boss, what should I do? Well, I don't know. Okay, well, let me ask you this, Ethan. Can you afford to tell your daughter you're not going to Disney World? Can you look at your daughter in the face and say you're not going to pay for the graduation? Well, no, I can't do that. Okay, cool. So let's do this. In 7 days, if you're not doing it, then let's look at those 3 whys and let's figure out what you can't do.
The direct model is an extremely effective framework and practice to drive adoption of new ideas, systems, and processes with your ISAs, your agents, and your staff, including building a culture of empathy for our leads. So we know that that's key to an effective nurturing and conversion strategy, but what does it look like when it's implemented? That brings us to the 7-11-4 rule developed by Google and ways to create content that turns cold leads into warm leads. What are the key categories in terms of types of follow-up? Like what types of leads generally have a longer runway, and what does that longer runway look like, and which ones have the higher intent, and you have to do less maybe to engage, or is that even way too oversimplistic?
No, it's not. I mean, the one thing I want to quickly talk about is a lot of people are lazy around this. Like they'll grab an action plan that 100 different people used. They won't change it, and they'll send it out and attach it to a lead. People want to read stuff. They want to engage with you. They want to get to know you. Sometimes you just need to take a step back and be like, would I even read this? What I'm sending, is it adding value? Google did this study, and it was 11-7-4 for somebody to become a buyer. 11 interactions over different areas, 7 hours of consumption, so content, and then 4 different locations, meaning, it could be face-to-face, could be on the phone, could be reading your emails. Google found that if you do all those things, you could then move somebody into your network of potentially being able to sell to.
In my mind, all leads are created equal.
Okay.
There's a person on that other side that needed support, and they were looking for an advocate. Like, that's at the end of the day what it is. How do you get that connecting point? Either it goes into your site, you either have an ISA, or it goes direct to agent, and they're reaching out outbound calls, or it's through text, or it's through action plans. Establishing those things, at the end of the day, we want to get it as, hey, we have a conversation. I think that's really where we have worked to create different automation systems and processes to get that actual conversation with an agent. And then that handoff to that agent is really where I think that magic happens, that an agent is in a position to really change somebody's life.
Use a framework of empathy and value to develop your content. Build it in buckets across 4 stages. Then, as you can, break those stages down even further into subtopics like credit repair, has an agent, bought with another firm, renter. All these people have different needs, they're in different places, and so different content can help. But remember, all leads are created equal. They just may need different types of nurturing on different cadences.
And it's all about being their advocate. I think about it not in sales, I think about more in social services. We're serving people. And then how do you do that? You got to build some trust, right? And trust means that you actually care about what they're looking for, and it's not about the price point of the property. It's not about a commission coming in. It's about really what do you need in your life? It's a needs assessment piece. And then I think the other piece is being the professional. Like, what separates you from somebody else? And you got to be able to drop a couple of things and speak confidently, and that's going to get you to actually have that face-to-face. And then seeing where they are in the buying process and actually be an active listener and listening, and then providing some value that might come out of that.
We hope you found this helpful, and we'd love to hear from you. How do you handle a lead once it comes into your CRM? What ideas here in this Minisode were most helpful to you? What other themes or topics would you like more insights into? Real Estate Team OS is all about you and your business. We're here to help, and we'd love to hear from you. If you've not yet done so, be sure to subscribe at realestateteamos.com/subscribe. When you do, you get immediate access to 7 subscriber-only episodes and email-exclusive insights once a week. And once those emails hit your inbox, just hit reply again. We'd love to hear from you. Thanks again for watching.